Welcome to State Scoop TV. I'm Jake Williams. Today we're here with the Mississippi Chief Information Officer, Craig Orgeron, and today we're going to be talking about your priorities. How's everything going?
Good.
Good. Well, thanks for being with us. So Craig, I mean, what are your top priorities for the year ahead, and really, what are some of the challenges that you face with those?
Well, we've got lots going on, like a lot of states and a lot of my colleagues in other states. So, big modernization projects we have in the state. Many things going on. But I will tell you, one of the big challenges is the legislature is looking at efficiency initiatives, right? To kind of make what government does fit the budget, and IT is part of that conversation, right? So change is hard. People can be nervous about that, but technology it's the great enabler of our business, right? Private sector, public sector. So I would say a lot of my challenges are really fine-tuning the skills, which are articulating the value proposition. You know, what can the state do, right? What makes the most sense to share? What makes the most sense to do across agency boundaries? And to be candid, what makes the most sense not to? Mm-hmm. Because those are the things that makes folks really nervous. So that's kind of what we are focused on.
Sure.
Right?
So, you know, Craig, you've been in this space for a while. You've been a CIO for a while. You've been a past president of NASCIO. You're as involved as they get.
That's right. I'm retiring, right?
That's right. That's right. But what aspects of state IT, you know, really are you most passionate about? And really what keeps you getting out of bed every morning and going to work?
Yeah. To be honest, it's, maybe I shouldn't say this because it'll be career ending, but it's the longer I'm in the job, it's the bringing of people together. You get that, 2 and 2 = 5 kind of feeling where all of a sudden you're really cooking with gas. Sometimes it can be around the technology, but many times it's just the old school stuff, right? How do you build relationships? How do you get people moving in a direction when they're nervous about things? So it's really that part of the job, right? And it is, I think it's an accurate statement. The CIO job can be kind of, you're in continual cat herding mode, right? You're building consensus, you're keeping the consensus, you're rebuilding it. Government does have a kind of a tendency to just float apart, right? The agencies have their missions, they may have dollars that come in from the government, the federal government. So, I mean, it's just that job. And you get, I think, well, I should say, I don't know if I've gotten better at it. I aspire to continue to be better at it. So that's part of what keeps me going.
That's interesting. And so, in Mississippi, I think you guys, obviously, as you said, have a lot of really cool projects going on. But where do you see your state as kind of a leader in innovation? And where do you think you're doing something that maybe no one else is?
Well, some things I'm really proud of, right? So our mobile first initiatives. And I think it's public knowledge. So we were 3rd in the country for Best of Web, and I'm really proud of that. You know, we're about 5 years into the mix of people and the team we have. So the Best of Web recognizes the portal part, but the program is really a mobile program, in my opinion, from an innovative perspective. What's interesting to me is if you pull a layer or two of the onion back, we're a rural state. Right, smaller rural state. And so the digital divide had been a big deal. But now with devices, right, you're hitting the internet, but it's way more affordable. So that is a big deal for a state like us. So I'm pretty proud of that.
That's awesome. Yeah. And with someone like you who's been in this space for so long and has so much experience, I mean, when we throw around this buzzword innovation, like what does that really mean to you? And really, how are you really trying to change the game in Mississippi?
Yeah, so there's a number of interesting and new things that are happening. Partnering with universities, right, who are kind of innovation hubs. We did that for our lifetracks.ms.gov longitudinal data system. Mississippi State was kind of part of driving that process. And it really, from a data scientist perspective, it really allowed the state to innovate, pull a lot of data together that heretofore wasn't pulled together. There had been a talk at the University of Mississippi in Oxford about STEM-based initiatives and sort of in some ways being able to marry what the university wants to do with private sector and public sector. So those kind of things I think are, whether they're completely unique, but they're innovative in raising the bar, right, in what government talks about. And it's really just an awesome feeling to be part of that conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And last question for you. I mean,
Yeah.
I forgot the question. Wow. Sorry. All right, we'll start. So last question for you. I mean, you know, the CIO job's a tough job,
Yep.
stressful job, but what's keeping you up at night? What are some of those large challenges that you really have to address?
Well, I would be stunned. I'd have to go look at my other friends when they do the interview. Cyber,
Yeah.
right? It's and it's not so much this feeling that, you know, 0-day threats or hacktivism. It's an evolving threat. It's a difficult threat sometimes to talk through and about, right? How do you best mitigate it? How do you get there? There's also a feeling, in some ways that I think I'm okay in saying this. A lot of it's out of your control, right? There's just password, simplistic password hygiene, right, across all of government and all these folks logging into all these devices every day. So there's a lot of that to it. So I would say cyber is certainly, it's the threat of our day, right? I mean, it's the thing that so our elections, right, recently, and the secretaries of state at the national level dealt with it. Our Secretary of State, we have a great Secretary of State in Mississippi. Secretary Hoseman has talked to the paper about the need for security and the great job that they're doing. So cyber is top of mind all the time, so I'd say.
Well, Craig, thanks so much for
Thanks,
being
Jake.
with us.
Yep.
For all the latest news and events of what's happening in the great state of Mississippi, as well as across the greater state IT community, check out statescoop.com. Again, I'm here with the Chief Information Officer for Mississippi, Craig Orgeron, and I'm Jake Williams. Thanks for watching.